Hey, stop monkeying around! It's time for this edition of the Garden City Gazette, Walla Walla's hometown newspaper. This edition is May 26, 1894. Despite the threatening weather, the 4th Cavalry Band played 2 selections at the courthouse square Saturday afternoon. Then it commenced to rain, and the concert was postponed. Many thanks are due to the few of the businessmen of Walla Walla who cheerfully signed their names to the advertising list, which goes to defray the expenses for these concerts. 2 rough-looking customers were at the post a few days ago in search of a square meal and a government pair of shoes. When asked why they didn't enlist, they said that soldiering, to them, always appeared to be too easy a life. A confidence man. We are reliably informed that for the last few days, a certain person who has been posing as an evangelist, but who has not preached here at all, has been making his presence felt as a confidence man. How many persons he has fleeced was not known. His game is to arrange with the pawnbrokers to give him a ticket on any cheap article of jewelry that may be in stock for several times its pawning value. He will then go to some new acquaintance and say that he is a little short of money, and request that the article be taken out of pawn for him, and he will repay the lender in a few days. The jewelry is then returned to the broker, who divides it with the schemer. A Gazette reporter went to a pawnbroker's office, and sure enough, there was a ring upon which $10 had been loaned, but the ring would not be shown unless the ticket was forthcoming. The reporter made an attempt to find the man so as to get the ticket, but his wife said he was not in. That evening they left the city for some other locality. Those horrid men. A few words with you, ladies. I am one of those horrid men you have been discussing so much of late, and from whom you are now engaged in a terrible struggle to free yourselves. I am going to stand on my hind legs just for a little while, however, and defend the masculine element from one of the fearful charges the fair sex lays at their door. We have been attempting to delude ourselves for ages that women were our queens, and the delusion was sweet. It has also been said that man is ungallant. How, when, and where? Listen, let me plead our cause with you. Have we not taken you to picnics in a $10 a day rig, when our salary was only half that sum a week? Have we not rowed boats containing 15 girls 7 miles against a raging current, time and time again, when the thermometer was boiling in the shade? Haven't we carried the lunch basket halfway across the township for you only to find that there wasn't enough to go around, and it was in order for us to say we're not hungry, while at the same time our stomachs were as empty as the city treasury? Have we not carried a howling baby around the room at 2 o'clock in the morning? And yet you call us ungallant and want to elevate us to the position of ruler-in-chief. Ladies, we won't serve. Signed, a man. The bold wisdom of an old-timer. In the course of one of his peregrinations in the outskirts of the city, Old-timer observed a squad of boys engaged in a game of marbles. He also observed that they usually play for keeps. Playing keeps is merely an incipient form of gambling. The essential character of gambling is trickery in place of work. It is the effort to get something for nothing. Let this poison once get into a boy's blood, and he might as well be pitched into the middle of the sea and done with it for any good that he will ever do in this world. We are the slaves of custom and public opinion. Consequently, the increasing popularity of bicycling and athletic sports among Parisian women is everywhere hailed with delight. One of the chief attractions of cycling to the Frenchwoman was the possibility of a novel and fetching gown. "I do not like it," says a man. "I have associated women so long with flowering draperies that if I should call on a girl in that garb, I would feel that I must bring her a box of cigarettes instead of bonbons." The new hats and bonnets are more eccentric than ever, and, it seems, more becoming. D. Disease, diphtheria, destruction, death. The result, not having G.H. Sutherland & Co. put your plumbing and drainage in order and furnish you with your hose, sprinklers, and anything you want in their line, number 10 Main Street. The American dollar has drawn a horde of strong men to America. Each member of the horde claims to be the strongest man on earth, and yet it seems impossible to get them together in a match. Sandow is the handsomest of the giants, and his manly beauty, supplemented by the work of a very able press agent, has given the public the impression that he is the king of all strong men. Experts, however, are of opinion that Louis Cyr, the Canadian giant, who can lift 440 pounds with one finger, is as much stronger man than Sandow. Picnic of the exclusive. Ballmeister's Grove will present a lively scene on Saturday afternoon. The lone pine and the stately balm trees will experience a shower of feminine expletives, as refreshing as they will be invigorating to the ladies. Who will compose the party is not given out, but it is hinted that only the elite of the city have been invited. For full 7 days, Mr. Max Baumeister has had a man at work on the premises, and it is presumed that the affair will be conducted a la mode. How to capture the game of hearts from a woman's standpoint. Hints to old maids. A girl should not seem to know too much if she would wish to be successful. As intricate and problematic as a game of chess is a girl's play to win masculine interest. I saw a member of each sex seated in a public restaurant engaged in conversation. Have you ever observed how hard an average girl works to entertain her escort? She is anxiously radiant, fighting down pauses for dear life, feeling that she has scored 1 good point every time she laughs and 4 points every time she makes him laugh. Her eyes are bright and almost frightened looking. Every nerve is braced, and she has been that way all evening too. Now watch a girl who knows her business. She takes it for granted that the fellow has called or taken her for a dine or a theater or whatnot to please himself as well as her. She wears a slightly bored air. A suspicion soon becomes to dawn upon him that he is stupid. All she need do now is to show a desire to be enlightened and a certain degree of stupidity in grasping the points he is most able to explain. He is now safe to entertain himself. No man can be diverted so successfully as to being allowed to talk on his own pet subject to someone who is curious and ignorant. All you need to do then is to keep your eyes earnestly attentive. It isn't even necessary to comprehend what he's saying. Following these rules will save you trouble and make people find you brilliant, sympathetic, and charming.